Hello, everybody. Jess Lohse, Structural Building Components Association, with another SBCA weekly update. Welcome back. It has been a fun week here at SBCA. Things are really rocking and rolling with BCMC coming up. Again, reminder, October 7th through the 11th in Milwaukee. If you've not already made plans, it's not too late. You can still register. You might have to stay a little bit away from downtown. I think there are some rooms available outside of our room block. But all in all, we've got a lot of things going on there. But before I get too much into BCMC, which I want to talk about a few things, we've got some birthdays. Last week, I mentioned Christine. Her birthday was on Tuesday this week. Laura on our team, Wednesday. And then next week, Sean, his birthday is going to be next Thursday. So I'm going to be traveling a little bit. We've got some activities that we will talk about here in future weeks, and we'll probably kind of disclose it at BCMC, kind of the surprise of the reveal on a project we've been working on. Hopefully we've got a teaser that we can share at BCMC. If not, it'll be shortly after that. But I'll be seeing Sean in person next week and looking forward to that. But back to BCMC, and really, last night I sat down and I went through all of the slide decks for all of the education presentations for a lot of different reasons, but really, out of curiosity. And it's one of those times where I'm like, gosh, I kind of wish I was building trusses, because there's a lot of really cool stuff for people that like to build trusses in those education sections. So it's kind of a choose your own adventure when you go to a conference like that, and you have to pick and choose between different titles and that kind of thing. But all in all, it's going to be a really robust education offering. And beyond that, we've got the framers as well as the supplier-led sessions. So a lot of crossover. We're trying to include a lot of people. But the cool thing about with Framer Summit and BCMC being tied together is if there's a framer that's interested in one of the component sessions, great, they can go in there and do that. Same with the component manufacturers interested in about what's going on in the framer world. That's one of the things that's really nice about that. But really, all in all, it's a lot of great presenters. We do things a little bit different than most conferences. We don't just take submissions. We actually work with our education committee, our BCMC committee, and our staff to come up with ideas. We try to have our finger on the pulse of what component manufacturers, what framers want to hear. And then we go out and we find speakers to that. So what happens is we get a lot of peer group presentations. So it's people that are component manufacturers or are framers. They are the ones that present. It's not a professional that's like, oh, hey, whiz bang, and by the way, I'm trying to sell you something. That's one of the great things about BCMC. Actually, I've got one of them calling me right now. I'm going to delete that. But all in all, it's a great opportunity to learn. And that's one of the things, BCMC, you might not always be in the market for a new saw or a new piece of equipment, but definitely come to BCMC if you are. But it's also about education and being able to learn, make yourself a better business person, better business, and make components, do some framing, everything just a little bit better. So hopefully you learn something at BCMC next week or in a couple of weeks. Looking forward to that. Beyond that, I really want to talk about the layout and a couple different things as far as the building. And I've mentioned this before, but it needs reiterating because it is a little bit, I guess I'm a little nervous about making sure everybody can get around. So if you come from one of the hotels, either the Hilton or the Hyatt, you're going to come from the Skywalk, you're going to dump into the second level. Second level is where the registration is going to be, as well as the education sessions. Registration typically is near the convention, the show floor, so to speak. But this year, it's going to be by the education sessions for a lot of different reasons. Ground level, level one is going to be where the meeting rooms are going to be. So if you do a demo or you're hanging out in one of the lounges or whatever that might be, that's going to be ground floor, level one. Level two is going to be the registration. So go there first, put that in your mind, as well as the education sessions. Level three, counterintuitive, but that's where we're going to put all the heavy equipment. That's where the show floor is. And then level four, which is only accessible from the north building, is going to be where we have our general sessions. That's going to be the Damon John, which the more I learn about him, the more excited I am to hear him speak. Todd Tomalak is always awesome when it comes to the econ stuff. It'll be interesting to see how he plows in the information from the Fed with the 50 basis point rate cut yesterday into his projections. And if that moves the needle, hopefully it does. Hopefully it does on multifamily, but that's why we're going to have somebody smart like Todd talk about it. And then we'll also have industry roundtables on that fourth floor. So we've got, spread out. You're going to have escalators all over the place, but so it makes it easy, but it is one of those, it's a little bit different than a couple of the last years where we had everything kind of on one level and contained. So think about that. Beyond that, on the show floor, we're actually going to have a pickleball court. We're going to do that as the industry celebration, kind of our closing ceremony where we have some cocktails or some beer and some wine options and some food to really keep people on the show floor and to really celebrate the industry and like another successful BCMC, fingers crossed. But we're going to have a pickleball court, and it's going to be on the cement. It'll have taped lines out. It is cement, so if you really get into it and you start diving and stuff, you're going to be landing on the cement. But the thing to think about as you pack and before you get there is making sure you've got some kind of a shoe that is applicable to playing pickleball. Again, I'm not much of a pickleball player, but I'm guessing there's some back and forth, and you don't want to be doing it in dress shoes or heels or whatever you might be. So think about that. Plus, the last day of a conference, you're going to want to wear comfy shoes anyway. So beyond that, anything else? Foundation dinner. The tickets, that wraps up on Tuesday, the 24th. So get your tickets if you've not already, but that's when the order has to go in for the food, for the caterers and all that. So we're going to be closing that on Tuesday. So get there. And really just looking forward to a great BCMC, seeing everybody. Such a fun time. I'm taking in about a million different directions as what all of our staff are, but it's a great several days, and really looking forward to Milwaukee this year. Fingers crossed again that we have some great weather, and Milwaukee will be a fun place. Wisconsin's a fun place. A lot of cool stuff going on there. So till then, I'll talk to you next week. Peaks up, press on. Have a great weekend and a great rest of your week.